Public is safe, thankfully, and they have that suspect in custody. We're just now waiting to learn what exactly happened out here. We'll continue to stay on top of all of these developments. Of course, this is a more rural area. We're noticing a lot of big properties out here, but still very concerning for something like this to happen in Montgomery County. Orko?
Yeah, Megan, you mentioned that you are at the media staging area. We know that that's a gas station as far as I'm aware. Do you know how far approximately you are from the scene, and have you seen anyone driving by you that maybe is from that neighborhood?
Hey, Orko, yeah, we are about 3 miles away from the scene, so less than 10 minutes at this gas station right off the highway. We haven't been able to really talk with anyone around the area yet. We know a photographer, of course, is at that scene, which isn't a neighborhood, which I know a lot of the houses nearby are more rural lands, but it looks like where the actual scene is in more of a neighborhood, classic neighborhood. So we're still waiting to hopefully hear from some people in this area. We did see a lot of law enforcement agencies leave the area because, of course, this is no longer an active shooter situation. A lot of those assisting agencies, like I had mentioned, DPS, the constables, they're able to now leave the scene. And what you're seeing now is the sheriff's office now trying to process this investigation, which can take hours. So if you do live in this area, still expect that heavy law enforcement presence. It's just not going to be quite as intense as it was earlier when, of course, they were trying to get that suspect in custody. Orko?
Yeah, Megan, we're taking a look at that scene right now from our other photographer who's a little bit closer there, seeing some of those law enforcement vehicles out there. We know that even though the scene is secure, as far as the sheriff's office has said, the advice right now is still to avoid the area. Have you seen anyone try to get closer to that neighborhood? And what's the message right now in terms of keeping that area clear as investigators continue to look into this?
Yeah, no, Orko, good point. It's crucial that people try and let law enforcement do their job, especially in a complex situation like this where we have multiple gunshot victims. We're still, again, waiting to learn their conditions and if they're okay. But we, luckily, like I mentioned, because this is a more rural area and people are more spread apart, the traffic isn't as congested, which should make it easier for law enforcement to be able to do their job and not be interrupted by people, of course, wanting to know what happened. So it seems like they do have that situation at least under control. I know people living there are probably very anxious, wanting to know exactly what happened. We do know when this was unfolding that they were communicating with those residents in the area and letting them know what they needed to do, whether that is stay indoors or be evacuated. We're still waiting to learn if anyone was evacuated, but sometimes in those situations they'll get people out of, if they're in the line of fire, for example, because they were calling this an active shooter situation. But yeah, still a lot to learn though, but it is best to avoid this area if you do live in this area or you're planning on visiting a loved one or you know of someone that lives in this area here in New Caney. Again, the shooting itself happening off of Nottingham Road in the Kings Colony neighborhood here in East Montgomery County. Orko?
Yeah, Megan, a lot of questions still left to be answered. As you mentioned, of course, how many people were injured in this shooting? How many, as far as those victims are concerned, what their conditions are at this point, and any details about the shooting? I know you're awaiting a news briefing from the sheriff's office and other authorities. Is there any estimate as to the timeline of that briefing? Have you heard anything on the ground yet?
Yeah, so it was actually about 15 minutes ago when our photographer that is out there at the scene, or is there at the scene rather, was told that it should be any minute now. So we made sure to be set up and ready to go. However, we do not see any law enforcement, anybody from the sheriff's office here yet. So it could be a while. In these situations, as they're learning more and because it's very much happening in real time, sometimes they do like to take their time to make sure they can gather enough accurate information to relay to us. And even the information they may give us here in the next minutes or so, 20 minutes, hopefully, I would probably estimate, that still might change because this is an ongoing investigation and things are so fluid. Orko?
A good reminder there. Megan, we'll check back in with you at 10 o'clock. Thank you so much. And just to recap for you, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says a suspect is now in custody after what authorities are calling an active shooter situation. It happened in the Nottingham Road area of the Kings Colony neighborhood that's in East Montgomery County. Officials telling us multiple people have been shot. Right now, we still don't know how many people were injured or what their conditions are at this point. Officials, however, say the scene is secure, and again, that suspect is in custody. As Megan said, we're still waiting for an update from the sheriff's office, and we are expecting to hear more from them at a briefing again where Megan is right now. As this story continues to develop, we'll bring you the latest right here on our free KHOU 11 app, online at khou.com, and on TV. Be sure to turn on your push alerts so you're the first to know when breaking news comes in.